All righty. Hello and good morning, Jessica. How's it going?
It's going good.
Amazing. Happy to hear that. Well, Jessica, I'm excited to speak to you this morning. So, if you don't mind, let's just go ahead and hop right into it. Tell me a little bit about your professional experience.
So I've been working with Walker Fence for about 4 years now. Kind of started just doing a minor office stuff and kind of growing from there. Now I handle scheduling, lead services, all kinds of emails and phone calls, just kind of the front end of this company at the moment. Filing permits and dealing with invoicing through QuickBooks, a little bit minor in that way because we already have somebody doing most of the accounting. But just overall, I do pretty much anything you could think an office manager is going to be doing. Being in the fencing company has definitely helped enlighten me towards just the construction field itself and what it takes to run that office. It's a little bit more than your general office concept. um,
Absolutely.
so I make sure that materials are on time, have been ordered, and verify that with the manufacturers that we have. So it's just something I think that helps that you don't often see in your general office roles. So um, QuickBook QuickBook invoicing, like I said, from start to finish, just doing the deposits and then making sure that we follow up with your final bills. Um, Answering phone calls, emails, you name it, I've done it, or I've got a good experience in it. All the different municipalities, as far as permitting and understanding their online roles versus in office, which just kind of helps understand, what each municipality needs, right? Because some are doing it online still, and some are still kind of old school, want you to bring it into the office and set it up in person. So.
Yes. And thank you for giving me that introduction to your most former role. Now, I know yesterday we spoke on the phone. You've been at this, or you were at that position for about almost 4 years or so. Tell me a little bit about why or what happened between, yourself and that company.
I'm actually still working. Just it's very part time at the moment.
Okay.
They're holding me on as much as they can, but unfortunately, being a small business and being a niche business at that, it seems to have taken a bit of a hit just company wise. So they're downgrading and bringing it down to just their bare basics, and unfortunately, that just means I've had to go look for a new job. So
Yeah.
here we are.
Absolutely. And from what I've gathered, you mentioned that ultimately it's the part-time that's going to have to separate you from that company. Now, I know you're
Yeah.
currently working there. I believe yesterday you mentioned that they know that you're looking for a new position. So are you looking to provide a 2-week notice, or are you comfortable starting really right away?
I'm comfortable starting right away. I've pretty much given them that notice that I am looking and they're aware of it, so they're comfortable with me leaving when I have a position available.
Okay, amazing. Just wanted to make sure that we confirm that as well, because my client is going to have someone truly start right away. So I'm happy to
Awesome.
hear that. Now, when you were working at Walker Fence, was this a position to where you had your own office, or were you kind of in the front office? Tell me kind of how you were stationary as far as offices.
Well, unfortunately, like I said, it's a small company, and as they dwindled down, we were no longer in an office setting. So I was working out of the owner's home at a side
Okay.
office there. Um, so I had my own space, but I had my own space inside the owner's
Yeah.
personal home for a little while. And then before that, I was just at the front office.
Yeah.
Most
Okay.
most everybody was in the back.
Awesome. And how big was that company? Or I should kind of reframe that question, but how were you managing anybody under you? Any, sales reps, any administrative coordinators? Did you have anyone else under you?
So I managed the crews themselves and just making sure they knew where they needed to be each day, what their schedule looked like, things like that, making sure materials were where they needed to be and they had an idea list of what they needed to pick up for each job. Um, Sales, we didn't really have much of a sales rep. I think the owner, like I said, it's a smaller company, so the owner did a lot of that himself.
Okay.
Um, he's kind of a bit of a one-man team every once in a while.
That
Um,
sounds good.
but we had about 6 crews running, and we've dwindled down to about 2 crews running, so you can understand the bit of the size change there.
Yeah, absolutely. No worries at all. Now, I heard earlier you mentioned that you've worked with QuickBooks as far as systems. Now, what are a few other systems that you've used or are comfortable with using?
Well, I'm good with Excel, and I'm also good with just your natural word processors and different kinds of CRMs. They had their own CRM built around their company,
Okay.
which I would assume a lot of companies have their own kind of
Yes.
specific CRMs for their own companies. I did a lot of estimates that I would create. We first started making estimates through QuickBooks, and then it had grown into the CRM system itself. Um, it's so hard to list them all when you
There's
sit and
so
think
many
about it for a minute.
systems,
You're just so
right?
used to using them.
No worries at all. So I'm sure you're familiar with obviously Google. You mentioned spreadsheets as well, or even the Outlook system, Microsoft system.
Yep.
So that sounds great to me. Now, as far as because we know that you're looking for a new position. So when you think about the next company that you join, what would be the ideal scenario for you?
Well, I want something that's going to last. Obviously, being 4 years in this company, I was hoping it was going to be the last company I had to work for. I think I'm really good in the role of office. I love to be able to please and make people happy, and just seeing the changes that overall come from fencing, roofing, those kinds of things is just, it's beautiful to see, and it's beautiful to see people happy. So it's just somewhere I excel at in the first place. I'm a mom of a couple of high school teenagers, so having a job and getting out of the house throughout the day is exciting, to say
Yeah,
the least.
I can only imagine. Well, Jessica, I just want to thank you for the time that we've spent this morning. I do want to go ahead and just conclude our interview, but I just want to ask you to stay on the line with me really quickly so we can continue chatting.
Sure.
Thank you so much.